Jargon is language, especially vocabulary, related to a particular trade, profession, or group. It is usually most prevalent within economics, sports, or legal lingo. But jargon only seems to confuse the listener. So why use it? In this presentation, we will focus on how and why jargon is used, specifically in sports.
But before we get into why jargon is implemented in sports, let's first look at the context. When various sources of sports news publish an article or a video that informs the audience about what happened, and as well as the player's performance, they must make sure to do it in a way that is interesting and entertaining to a group that mostly consists of people who understand the sport.
The structural basis of the commentary would therefore depend on using vocabulary that is not only related to the sport, but also that prevents the text from becoming uninteresting due to the excessive amounts of definitions that would result from all the events and technical aspects happening in the sport.
As an example, let's look at this article published by the BBC discussing a recent rugby game. When looking at the article, we can see that words such as fullback, dropped, the wing, outside, centre, and lineup, and fly half. As a reader, let's see how much of a change in terms of word count will result after defining all the terms. Anthony Watson switches to fullback with Elliot Daly returning to the wing. Will change to Anthony Watson switches to fullback with Elliot Daly returning on the position on the outside of the back line, where the primary function is to finish off moves and score tries.
Worcester's Ben Teo replaces Jonathan Joseph at the outside centre would change to Worcester's Ben Teo replaces Jonathan Joseph at the position that usually stands close to the fly half, or at the first receiver on the other side of the scrum or breakdown. Like the fly half, he will have to possess a good kicking game and be good at reading the play and directing the attack. With his position being placed outside the inside centre, his main role will be to provide space for the players outside him.
France have made one change, with Francois Trinduc coming in for the benched Lionel Bayou at fly half would change to. France have made one change, with Francois Trinduc coming in for the benched Lionel Bayou at the position of the back line. Trinduc would usually be the first to receive the ball from the scrum half following a breakdown, line out, or scrum, and will need to be decisive with what actions to take and be effective at communicating with the outside backs. He will also have to be calm, clear thinking, and have a vision to be direct and effective attacking plays. This position will be responsible for carrying out goal kicks as well as other kicks such as up and unders, scrubbers, and chip kicks, as well as being able to kick for territory.
At first glance, one might think that defining the vocabulary of a technical aspect in a sport won't affect the structure of the text. But when there are about 1 in every 20 words in an article that are jargon, which should rather be defined, then this would add up to a substantial amount of words that will definitely be noticed by the audience. Not only this, but defining jargon leads to a rabbit hole of more jargon. Therefore, at this point, the overall purpose of the text will be redundant, as it will be focused on describing the technical aspects rather than what actually happened in the game.
Even for newcomers to the sport, it will be ironically more difficult to understand what is going on with the definitions rather than jargon being used. Hence, for the structural integrity and meaning in the text produced by sports authors, jargon is in a sense inevitable. Other than the structure and meaning, jargon is also an important element in terms of producing text that will emphasize the key points in the game, as well as making the text more appealing to the reader, listener, or viewer.
In terms of emphasis, let's look at another article by BBC, this time discussing boxing. The following lines emphasize important events which have happened. The events are presented with sentences that contain jargon which define the technical aspect in 1 or 2 words. Thus, the reader can follow what happened in the convenience of a few words. Brna, Hungarian amateur flyweight champion in 2008, has won 15 of his 17 professional bouts, but will not be expected to trouble unbeaten Conlan. As the reader, we can understand that although Brna has shown some good performance, he will be no match against Conlan. But let's see what happens when we define the jargon in this sentence. Brna, Hungarian amateur, whose weight class in boxing ranges from 49 kilograms to 52 kilograms, who was a champion in 2008, has won 15 of his 17 professional fights, ranging from rounds 4 to 12. Each round normally lasting 3 minutes, but will not be expected to trouble unbeaten Conlan. To the reader, a simple sentence has become quite a mouthful, and the purpose of the text to quickly inform the audience of key points that has occurred in the game is lost.
Another sentence would be, the Hungarians suffered successive losses last year, including a first-round knockout by Ukraine's Oleg Malinowski in a WBO European featherweight fight. As the reader, we will understand that Berna was defeated severely at some point by Oleg Malinowski. The Hungarian suffered successive defeats from fights ranging from 4 to 12 rounds, each round normally lasting 3 minutes. Last year, including a first-round fight ending by Ukraine's Oleg Malinowski in a WBO European featherweight fight. When the jargon is again defined, the sentence is filled with more words that deter the viewer from emphasizing the point of Berna losing to Oleg.
Of course, the paragraphs containing the defined jargon are a bit exaggerated in terms of how much is actually defined. However, this should give you an idea of how useful jargon is when trying to make a point to an audience. One last aspect to consider is that jargon brings a stylistic feature that diversifies the text between the sports. An audience that watches football would appreciate a read that involves words associated with football, and an audience that watches boxing would appreciate a read that involves words associated with boxing.
Stripping the jargon from the texts and replacing it with more universal definition would remove the entertainment and interest of the text. Since the audience wants to have a quick read and catch up on the latest highlights of the sports they follow, not read an academic essay. Boxing fans would much rather read this instead of reading this, because they already understand the terminology and do not need it to be defined.
To conclude our analysis, based on our observations, jargon is an important element in sports language that is published. This is because it ties the dynamic between a knowledgeable audience and professional presenters, as well as the fact that the use affects the structure, meaning, and style of text. But we wanted to take this a step further, a more practical approach, you could say, that would hopefully show the true effect of jargon. The following videos should compare the effect jargon has while present or absent. Hello, and welcome to today's show. With me are Inno Rege and Soyer Banks. In today's show, we are looking at the highlights of the table tennis match between Sam and Sanderson. Enjoy. And here are our two players today, both looking for an important win in our lovely outdoor venue. What do you guys think of today's match?
I'm not too sure. I think Sam will take this one. He has won the toss, so he'll be serving first. He's got the upper hand, if anything.
I won't be too sure about that. Sanderson has worked quite hard to get here and has been known to struggle at controlling his temper. I think his ability to twirl the racket and deceive his opponent may play into his hands. Yep, Sanderson receives that serve quite nicely.
They'll both be looking to just return each other's stroke and keep the rally going.
Sanderson's looking mainly to use his backhand, and he has succeeded in forcing Sam to move a lot and show some good footwork.
Sam returns Sanderson's slice very well and looks to smash that one, hoping Sanderson is none the wiser to it.
They're both just smashing it now.
Well, Sam has effectively used the looper a few times, trying to catch Sanderson out maybe?
Well, he's looking to effect a drop shot, but Sanderson is managing to reach the ball every time.
Sanderson just blocked that one and has given Sam a chance to smash.
Which he has done. That was deep, but he managed to pull off the first point of the match.
Set one goes to Sam.
Sam will get us going again with a spinning serve, which is returned beautifully by Sanderson.
They're both just driving their strokes now, looking possibly to calm the match down a tad.
I'm pretty sure that's a false hit by Sanderson. It's bounced on his side, but the umpires obviously missed that.
Sam's tried continuing, but it's too late. Sanderson's won that set in unpredictable fashion.
Sam looks to make this more interesting with the use of his serve behind his back.
Interestingly, it's got the crowd going. He's starting to utilize his drop shot more as the game goes on.
They're just using finesse right now, receiving each other's strokes with ease. I'm waiting for a little more excitement, to be honest.
Well, Sam has been set up for a smash here by Sanderson's dead stroke. Luckily for Sanderson, it was rather tame.
What's this? Seems Sanderson's looking to be as off-putting as possible with this little shimmy.
I've never seen such footwork. And the backhand spin stroke, Sanderson's really looking to get back into the game.
Sam has illegally scorpion kicked that one like a footballer. Seems like the referee's completely missed it though.
Sanderson seems to have decided to keep the ball bouncing on his racket, utilizing his push shot.
Sam's just about gone to that, but Sanderson's just killed it completely with that stroke. 2-1 for Sanderson.
Sanderson seems to think that it's tennis with that creaser bouncing.
Yeah, they're initiating a good rally here. Sam's looking to produce some illegal skills similar to Sanderson's though. Where is the umpire gone?
Yeah, it's a little bit chaotic out there. Both players are focusing on their forehand here. Sam's getting a lot of spin off with his inverted racket.
Sanderson returns Sam's stroke very well, but Sam receives between his legs and kills the set with his second shot. Slightly illegal, but all the rules seem to have gone out the window.
Well, it's 2-all going into the final set.
Sam's immediately using a spin shot again, but to no avail.
They're receiving a lot of shots down the line and looking to push their opponent's footwork to the limit.
Again, there's a few drop shots going on here, but no one's being caught out.
Sam's just chopping his returns right now, seriously causing Sanderson to rethink his strategy as to whether or not to smash the ball.
And wow, Sam's just completely smashed that at Sanderson's head. Time to test that temper of his.
Welcome back. That was entertaining, wasn't it? What particularly impressed you in that first set, Inno?
Throughout this first set, both seemed to focus mainly on their forehand. Looking to keep the rally going with each stroke, they seemed to want to get into a good rhythm, trying to suss out each other's weaknesses. Sanderson seemed to sort of use only weak strokes, hardly testing Sam. But what really impressed me was the finishing moves towards the end from Sam, which were sublime. He even jumped onto the table to smash that one down the line, giving Sanderson no chance at saving the set.
And you, sir? Anything in particular?
Well, I was quite impressed with both of their spin shots. I enjoyed the technique, but what really came to my attention was Sam's grip of the racket. He uses a technique called the shake hand grip. It's widely used in Europe and gives both players a strong forehand and backhand. It gives him a lot more control, and I think this is why he won the first set.
I enjoyed his finishing move at the end, even though I think Sanderson may be questioning the legality of it. But with how it continued in the coming sets, I don't think this bothered him too much.
Yeah, set 2 went to Sanderson, and he finally pushed Sam into some nifty footwork.
It wasn't the most beautiful set. Both looked to be fancy, twirling their rackets, while seemingly paying little attention to one another's strokes. Sam went for the spin shot after Sanderson had successfully committed it, but unfortunately failed to pull it off.
It was scrappy but entertaining, wasn't it? I mean, Sanderson's footwork was on point. The only explanation I can think of for this is the fact that once upon a time he was a ballerina. Set 3 gave us another angle to approach from. What did you think of it, Soyer?
Well, it was progressively more and more entertaining, to be honest. Neither seemed to be stressed with the game, and they had the crowd going. Sam's serve was particularly entertaining when performing it behind his back.
Yeah, Sanderson again had Sam on the ropes, forcing him into a great deal of footwork. He was sending it down the line on one side, then the other, putting Sam into some horrible situations. And then came the shimmy.
Yeah, what was that? I mean, it's not a normal move for table tennis players, and I'm pretty sure it's illegal to keep the ball bouncing on the bat.
It is illegal, but the umpire missed it, as we mentioned in the commentary. He's done it, it's over, nothing more can be done. Sam wasn't completely legal either. He returned the stroke with his foot, like a football player. I think that was also said in the commentary. Sanderson again bounced it multiple times on his racket, utilizing his push shot.
Sanderson won that one, obviously, and as well took the lead. Sam seemed to lose control and looked to smash it, but was nowhere near the finishing stroke.
So, set 4. Sanderson had taken the lead and was looking to build upon it and serve it for this set. Anything catch your eye here,
Yeah, I mean, firstly, Sanderson bounced the ball a few times. Now, I think this may have been to possibly psych his opponent out. Anything can change a player's mentality nowadays, even if it's as small as that. Secondly, Sam yet again looked to keep the rally going for a while. before he chose to commit the same foul as Sanderson had in the previous set.
The bounce of the ball in the racket, I assume.
Yeah, it allowed him to set himself up for a smash.
Sanderson seemed to lose concentration, hoping to keep the entertainment value up throughout the set, but this caused him to lose the lead, if anything. Sam deservedly smashed that one deep, giving Sanderson no chance to recover and receive the stroke.
Now, final set. There was some more controversy, you could say, in this one set. We've been looking at the rules. Can you take us through it?
Basically, Sam served and a great rally began. It was a great showcase of some beautiful table tennis, but it slowly went downhill.
They both looked to kill the game and take the W, but it meant that there was a loss of control. Sam started to smash every shot until he practically had no aim, and he smashed it right into Sanderson's face.
This is where the law came into effect, I take it.
Yeah, Sam was deemed to have infringed the ball as it didn't hit the table before hitting Sanderson, which meant the point was given to Sanderson and he effectively won the game.
Well, that was the analysis of the game. Thank you for joining me, Inno Rege and Soyer Banks. I've been your host, James Greasley, and until next time, goodbye.
What you just witnessed was a commentary of us describing a table tennis game. And the following will be the same commentary but without us using jargon. And it will hopefully show you how bland and uninteresting it is when generic words are used with little to no details included.
Here come both our players, shaping each other up in our lovely schoolyard. What do you guys think of today's match?
I'm not too sure. I think Sam will win this one. He just won rock, paper, scissors, meaning he starts. This is quite an advantage for him.
I don't know about that. Sanderson has been through a lot to be in this game. It's just whether he can control his temper. I think his ability to spin the racket in his hand helps him somehow.
Well, let the game begin.
Yep, Sanderson hits the ball nicely.
They'll both be looking to hit the ball.
Sanderson is looking mainly to use a method of using the back of his hand. He has succeeded in forcing Sam to walk a lot, though.
Sam hits Sanderson's pass very well and looks to hit the ball very hard, hoping Sanderson is not going to be able to handle it.
They're both just hitting the ball very hard now.
Well, Sam is effectively used to throwing the ball high a few times. Trying to outsmart Sanderson, maybe?
Well, he's looking to hit the ball, but Sanderson is managing to hit it back as well.
Sanderson just took back that one and has given Sam a chance to hit it very hard.
Which he's done, but well, that was very low to the ground. He has managed to get the first point of the match.
Sam seems to have won the first section of the game.
Sam will start off again with an interesting ball hit, which is then hit back by Sanderson.
They're both just swinging pretty hard, clearly trying to speed up the game.
I'm pretty sure Sanderson made an illegal move there, but apparently no one cares.
Sam tried to hit it again, but clearly missed. Sanderson's won that game.
Sam looks to make the most more interesting with the use of his hand behind his back.
Interestingly, he's got the crowd going. He's starting to utilize hit the ball harder as more as the game goes on.
They're just using good moves right now, receiving each other's passes with ease. I'm waiting for a little more excitement, to be honest.
Well, Sam has been set up for that hard hit there by Sanderson's strong hit. Luckily for Sanderson, it was Sam's response. It wasn't too difficult to handle.
What's this? Seems Sanderson's looking to be as confusing as possible with this walk.
I've never seen such movement, and then the movement of the hand. Sanderson's really got to get back into the game.
Sam has kicked that one. I don't think that he's supposed to do that, but seems like the person who oversees the game has completely missed it.
Sanderson seems to have decided to be bouncing the ball excessively.
Sam's just about gotten to that, but Sanderson just killed it completely with that hit. 2 sessions to 1 for Sanderson.
Sanderson bouncing the ball on the table for some reason.
Yeah, they're both playing good. Sam is breaking the rules again. Also, there's no person overseeing the game.
Yeah, this game's going crazy. Both players are doing a good job hitting the ball back and forth. Sam's hitting the ball differently than Sanderson.
Sanderson hits the ball back, but Sam is a crazy maneuver and wins the game in 2 hits. Another breakage of the rules, but clearly no one still cares.
Well, there's one more match left.
Sam starts it with a strange hit again, but fails.
They're hitting back and forth pretty fast, trying to make each other walk a bit more.
Again, more illegal hits, but still, no one could care less at this point.
Sam's just hitting the ball back, seriously causing Sanderson to rethink his strategy as to whether or not to hit the ball with power.
And wow, Sam just hit the ball really hard and it hit Sanderson in the head. I wonder how Sanderson will handle that.
So that was entertaining, wasn't it? What particularly impressed you, Enno?
Throughout this first game, both seemed to focus mainly on hitting it on their right side, looking to keep the game going with each hit. They seemed to want to get into a good rhythm, trying to suss out each other's weaknesses. Sanderson seemed to sort of use only his weak hits, hardly testing Sam. But what really impressed me was the final hits towards the end from Sam, which were sublime. He even jumped onto the table to hit it hard along the side, giving Sanderson no chance at saving the game.
And you, sir? Anything in particular?
Well, I was quite impressed with both of their twisting hits. I also enjoyed their technique, but what really came to my attention was Sam's grip of the racket. He uses a technique where he can move his hand quite easily. It's widely used in Europe and gives the players both a strong and left-right hit. It gives them a lot more control, and I think this is why he won the first game.
I enjoyed his fine hit at the end, even though I think Sanderson may be questioning the legality of it. But with how it continued in the coming game, I don't think this bothered him so much.
Yeah, game 2 went to Sanderson, and he finally pushed Sam into some nifty walking.
It wasn't the most beautiful game. Both looked to be fancy moving their rackets, whilst seemingly paying little attention to one another's hits. Sam went for the weird hit after Sanderson had successfully committed it, and unfortunately failed to put it off.
It was scrappy, but entertaining. As Sanderson's walking was on point. The only explanation I can think of for this was the fact that he was once a ballerina. Game 3 gave us another angle to approach from. What did you think of it, Sawyer?
Well, it was progressively more and more entertaining, to be honest. Neither seemed to be stressed with the game, and they had the crowd going. Sam's opening hit was particularly entertaining, performing it behind his back.
Yeah, Sanderson again had Sam on the ropes, forcing him into a great deal of walking. He was sending it along the edge on one side, then the other, putting Sam into some horrible situations. And then came the shimmy.
Yeah, what was that? I mean, it's not a normal move for a table tennis player. And I'm pretty sure it's illegal to keep the ball bouncing on the bat.
It is illegal, but the referee missed it, as we mentioned in the commentary. He's done it, it's over. Nothing can be done. Sam wasn't completely legal either. He returned the hit with his foot, like a football player. I think that was said in the commentary. Sanderson again bounced it multiple times on his racket and utilizing his force hit. Sanderson
won that one, obviously, as well as took the lead. Sam seemed to lose control and looked to hit it hard, but was nowhere near the final hit.
So, game 4. Sanderson had taken the lead and was looking to begin this one. Anything catch your eye, Enno?
Yeah. Firstly, Sanderson bounced the ball a few times. Now I think this may have been to possibly psych his opponent out. Anything can change a player's mentality nowadays, even if it's as small as that. Secondly, Sam yet again looked to keep the game go on continuously before he chose to commit the same foul as Sanderson had in the previous game.
The bouncing of the ball on the racket, I assume.
Yeah, it allowed him to set himself up for a huge hit.
Sanderson seemed to lose concentration, hoping to keep up the entertainment value throughout the game, but caused him to lose the lead, if anything. Sam deservedly hit that hard and far, giving Sanderson no chance to recover and receive the hit.
Now, final game. There was some more controversy in this one yet again. We've been looking at the rules. Can you take us through it?
Basically, Sam started the game, and a great bunch of hits began. It was a great showcase of some beautiful ping pong, but it slowly went downhill.
They both looked to end the game and take the W, but it meant there was a loss of control. Sam started to hit Sanderson's balls hard until he practically had no aim, and hit Sanderson straight in the face.
This is where the law came into effect, I take it.
Yeah, Sam was deemed to have been wrong as the ball didn't hit the wood before hitting Sanderson, which meant the point was given to Sanderson, and he effectively won the game.
Well, that was us judging the game. Thank you for joining me today, Inno Rege and Soyer Banks. I've been the person running the show, James Greasley, and until next time, good day.
Now you've witnessed the sports commentary with no jargon included. At some point in the commentary, it just became repetitive and it did not really showcase the skills of the players. It is therefore our conclusion that jargon has a place in sports language, and without it, the balance between the structure, meaning, and emphasis and style would be broken. A critical mix that would make an article or highlight interesting to an audience.